Welcome to The Life of Hair. My name is James Atkinson. Thank you very much for choosing to join into this week's episode. Now, as you see from the title, this lady's unfortunately had her hair ruined by salon. Now, I've only kind of partly watched this video, and what I thought was particularly interesting, that this is from the perspective of the client. So it's always interesting to see how they portray it, how they perceive it. Whether we agree or not, that's entirely up to us. But obviously this lady's had her hair melted off just before her wedding, as it says in the description of her video. So the channel is called the channel is called The Fam Cam. They've got about 8,000 subscribers, and I think they do kind of daily vlog stuff. Please do go and check them out and thank them for their candid review of their experience at a hair salon for us to learn from, hopefully, in today's episode. So if you like this type of educational hair content, then please hit the subscribe button down below. There's nearly 400 videos to go and watch over on the channel, all hair related tutorials and reviews of this nature. So if this is your kind of thing, it's probably worth getting involved, and I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts in the comment section. So please do jump down there and tell us what you all think.
My hair is destroyed. First, let me say, I acted the way I acted after I got my hair done because my wedding was in 2 weeks.
Hairdressers take, obviously, complaints certainly very personally sometimes, and yes, we may not have necessarily done our best work, but also where the client is coming from can sometimes be from a different angle that we're not even thinking about. It may not be personal to us. We could have done the best job in the world, and I've seen that before as well, where people have done great hair work and actually that person's going through a terrible time, or they break down in the relationship, and actually that's what's playing out in front of you. So you've got to break it down into not just, is it my technical ability, do I not know what I'm doing, which I've heard that so many times over the years. Oh, well, okay, judging by what we see here, and I don't know how it was before it started, I'm sure we're going to find out as we go through. As you can see, almost yellow, almost green, overlifted, very dark, harsh roots. Okay, not technically brilliant, being polite, obviously. Toner's too ashy. Then obviously tried to, with them trying to neutralise the warmth in that mid-zone, that's really where a lot of the problems have probably come from, with an uneven application. Seeing it from the perspective of a client sometimes is very helpful for you as a stylist going forward to understand, where people might be coming from and how they perceive it, over you feeling attacked, which is how you feel. I feel like that sometimes, and you've got to calm that emotion down and, try and find some resolution. Okay, so as we can see on the screen now, this is what her hair was like before they started. You can see some colour on the ends. It's pretty obvious that there's been some lightener going through those ends previously, which explains obviously that silver grey colour from the finished result on the ends, because obviously that's just had maybe the same peroxide level of bleach put through the ends. The mid-zone is obviously reasonably uncoloured, and then would I say that was 6 years worth of growth? That doesn't look like 6 years worth of growth, unless her hair grows quite slowly, because the colour to me, looking at the screen here, looks like it's kind of only at her shoulders there. I mean, there's a streak of light. Maybe that's the sun that's done that. But obviously the bulk of the colour, maybe this is what she's saying and the sun's caught this. I'm not entirely sure, obviously. She's got reasonably dark hair naturally, but there is colour in her hair previously, and that explains a lot of those indiscrepancies. And obviously you've got to treat each area differently, as a lot of you will know. Some of you are watching this that are not so experienced. Those ends, if they're going to lighten those ends, you need to use lower peroxide for less time. The mid-band is obviously going to need treating differently, and then obviously the darker natural colour needs treating differently. So it's a very technical service. I'm intrigued to see how they went about it.
This is what I wanted done.
If they've promised this to her, this is probably the biggest problem that they've come across. That picture, if that isn't photoshopped, I'll eat my own hair, right? I'll grow it out and I'll shave it off and I'll eat it. I'm not joking, because that is just so white. That is so white. And to promise that to somebody is a disaster. I mean, even the ends of this are a bit yellowy, and that's probably like a shadow appeared from somewhere. So really this is where this has probably all gone wrong, guys. It is all in the consultation. Over-promise is the root of all evil. You've got to under-promise and overachieve, and you'll have happy clients time after time and time. If you say, yeah, don't worry, yeah, I'll get it done, no problem. And then you've got a technical lift like that, you've got loads of hair to do, and it's not going to cost $1,000 because you're going to spend all day or more doing this technique, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. That's hours and hours and hours worth of work under anybody's steam, whether they're experts in colour, and it's even more time if you're not that confident with these type of colours. It really is super important that if someone brings you a picture of white hair and they are not naturally very light, then you are really giving yourself a very hard time promising that. Okay, this is where this has all gone wrong for sure.
When I was younger, I went through a phase of highlighting my hair, and I would highlight my hair every 3 months to where eventually my whole head was just blonde. I'd straighten my hair every day so my hair would not grow past my shoulders because my hair was so dead and fried from the straightener and from bleach. So I stopped dyeing my hair. I stopped doing anything to my hair. Just let it grow, kept it in a braid, kept it natural, no...
Okay, interesting then. So in that 6 years, the hair obviously at the end is damaged for sure. Hence why her hair is now shorter in that plait than it is before she started, because obviously she's had some of her hair has clearly melted off. She's had a chemical haircut. And, you know, for all intensive purposes, if the stylist who did this didn't ask that question up front, what was your hair like previously, just assuming that 6 years ago was a long time, that's half the battle here. That's half the problem that they're causing themselves, is that, you know, this is a very technical colour problem. It's also got a lot of colour history. You're asking for a disaster if you're setting yourself up to make white blonde hair with all of that going on. Okay. Something to say here. Obviously they've started in the front. Now it's now 1:38 p.m. The first part of the video was over an hour and a quarter ago. Those front sections have been on a very long time, considering it looks like she's painting it all the way through to the ends. I can't see if she's changing lightener. Maybe she is. I'm not going to assume she isn't. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt here. But even if she is changing lightener, an hour and a quarter is over manufacturer's recommended amount of time to leave bleach on anyway. So there is obviously going to be, you know, you're going to be in the damage realm now. You've really got to think about these things in terms of timing. Starting in the front and working your way to the back with any bleaching job that isn't going to take more than 20 minutes to apply is asking for trouble. It is now 2:25 p.m. and the front sections are still in. 2 hours later. These guys are asking for trouble. The longest I ever recommend anyone to bleach previously polylightened hair, 20 minutes for full safety, and then obviously after that point, you're taking risks. You're taking risks bleaching previously polylightened hair after the 20-minute mark. 25 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe if your hair thinks it's really strong and coarse and you're confident it's in decent condition.
I definitely think I want the more icy blonde than the gray.
Right, and that's what we're doing. I'll show you what I'll show you on the swatch what it's
Okay.
It's an AC.
Yeah.
It's an AC color. So, like I said, it's just go. Because it's that iridescent.
Yeah.
So as she was taking those out, I'm sure you could see the ends were just like, she was like trying to hide them behind the foil, because obviously the woman's filming. She's clearly filming her. That toner looks incredibly blue. There is yellow present, so it probably needs pre-toning if you were ever even going to think about it being white. But obviously the ends are fried and they are super white. So one toner all the way through is never going to be even. But I'm intrigued to see how that turns out. But those ends are irreparable. They're just going to fall off or going to be cut off.
She said before she started, she's like, how many fingers do you want your roots? 1, 2, or 3 fingers? And I'm like, oh, you know, I trust you. Maybe 3, 4 fingers. So she's basically, what she did, she took my hair, took her brush, took some dye, flopped it on my hair and just brushed it down, like literally measured with her fingers and just went bloop, 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 bloop.
Interesting technique, just like the way she described it. Obviously, the image, even if you were going to attempt to do the original image, it's a shadow root. It's a bleach the lot and shadow root it jobby. Trying to attempt to even do anything like that is just crazy. You're never going to get that to blend, never in a million years. And the 1 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger, maybe afterwards. That's quite a good shout though. Like when you were doing a shadow root on someone, you could measure it because, you know, lots of people get confused by tap root, shadow root, root stretch, root smudge, you know, all the names. So you could say to your client, do you want a 1 finger, which is a shadow root, 2 finger, which is a, you know, smudge, you know, that's a really good way of asking the clients what they want. I actually like that. I'm probably going to steal that, to be fair.
And I said to her, I said, my hair looks green.
Oh, that picture. I said that toner looks incredibly blue. I haven't seen that picture yet. That toner was incredibly blue for yellow hair. That is a very, very green result. Some of you will know this, some of you are very experienced, but if you've got somebody with yellow in their hair and you put blue on it, it will turn green. Absolutely, no shadow of a doubt. Most definitely, you are going to get green. So it's really, really important that you obviously neutralise that yellow with the violet, and then you can use your first toner to do that job and your second toner to help you create those whiter results. She was never going to get that white. The application, the lift on that mid-zone wasn't enough. You could see that when she was pulling her foils. Boy, that is green. Wow.
Honestly, no offense against you, but I honestly didn't even want anyone here fixing my hair again.
Clearly lost confidence in them. I don't blame her. She probably does deserve a refund at this point. Yes, I know some salons have a policy of, you know, trying to fix people's hair first before they offer refunds. In this particular instance, her hair is trashed. Tricky situation, but if your clients lost confidence in your ability to fix their hair, probably best just to give them a refund, I would say.
It was blue when it was done, and I told her that it looks like my roots just grew out. She's like, yeah, just give it a few days, it should fade out. That's what she said. And that's what she said, just wash it, and if anything, we could go darker. This is not a faded root. It's all over, not a faded root anywhere. And my hair is destroyed. The end of my hair is destroyed.
Okay, so they've gone into the store to complain and talk to the manager and all that jazz. And there's a chap on the desk and he's like, you know, he agrees that obviously it's not exactly looking amazing, which is good, because I always think it's good to agree if it doesn't look good. If you then start disagreeing, you're just going to make them pissed off. So it's really, I think it's important. If you think it doesn't look good, it doesn't look good. Just go own it. Just own it. Don't give them the BS. It just annoy people. You know, they're asking for a refund. I think they're like I mentioned, they're totally entitled to a refund in my eyes. If everybody's not showed up, the managers obviously, you know, didn't turn in. The girl who did her hair didn't turn in. The girl who was supposed to fix her hair had, you know, an appointment at the hospital miraculously. The least that this company can do now is offer a refund and allow the girl to go and get her hair fixed somewhere else. At the end of the video, she does go and get her hair fixed at another salon. They clearly have a little bit more expertise in blonde. They do make it warmer, which is definitely the thing to do. It was never going to be ice white unless, you know, I mean, they spent 6 hours on it. So they probably could have got it done to close to white in that 6 hours, but she had a lot of hair, so maybe it's probably more of an 8-hour job realistically, even if you had the experience and the skill and the knowledge to do that job. There's been a catalogue of errors here from this salon, from the stylists, perspective, and I see this, and I have seen this multiple times in my career. It's really, really important that you're upfront and honest with your client that's sitting in your chair. If they show you an image that you do not think you can achieve, that you tell them you can't achieve it. You can maybe have an alternative. It may make you feel a bit inadequate, but that's a better feeling than this disaster. This lady's very unhappy. She leaves this place crying. Her hair's, number one, it's fried. Number two, it's still a bit khaki. It's the really green has faded, but it's still a bit khaki. The ends are destroyed. There's no fixing that. If you're honest and you're open, you could probably have talked her around from having that ice white result and stopped all this damage and all of those kind of things that people just walk themselves into. The crux of this story, guys, is don't be afraid to just tell them no. As hard as that may be, you save yourself a lot of heartache. Until next time, guys, look after yourself, have a great week, and I'll see you again next Sunday for another episode of The Life of Hair.